Hey everybody, David here with another helpful tip in starting your handyman, electrical, plumbing contractor job from home. Um, Something that will, I think, benefit you greatly when it comes to starting out and figuring out how to price a job. So what a lot of guys will do is they will call local contractors, Joe Schmo's handyman, jack of all trades. They'll call them and they'll find out what their hourly rate is. And then they'll kind of find a number in there between, and that's what they start out with. This is a really bad idea because what it doesn't account for is your time you're actually doing the job versus your time that you are looking at jobs, pricing jobs, getting materials for jobs, etc. So what needs to be done, and this will benefit you greatly, is pricing by the job, not by the hour. When you are working and you're just starting out and you're going to just start doing small, handyman repair jobs, going to go replace a light fixture, you're going to go, fix a drain sink leak that's, they're going to do a repair. You're going to fill your days with jobs like that. Statistics and studies show that you will spend an average of 4 hours a day with your hands on tools doing the actual task of the day. So in the service industry, average 4 hours a day with your hands on your tools. So what happens with the other 4 hours? So you have material runs, you go to a customer's house, they have a couple projects for you to do, and you need to go get materials for that job. It's unlikely that anybody in this industry is going to stock all of these materials. You might have a couple, hardware, tools or, supplies on your van or trailer, whatever you're using. But generally, you're not stocking these types of supplies. So you have to go get the supplies. You have to price out the job. You have to meet with the customer. So let's do a little walkthrough here on a typical day. Your first appointment's at 8 o'clock. You go to your truck, make sure you have what you need. Truck's fueled up if you stop at the gas station. You get to your job at 8 o'clock. You meet with the customer, and you're going to want to plan on 15 minutes, 30 minutes, maybe an hour if it's a chatty person, to look at their projects. And you want to ask exploratory questions, open-ended questions. You want to ask, well, how long has this been going on? And, what caused this outlet to stop working? Is this do you use this outlet a lot? And they might say, no, it's behind the couch, but we use this one over here. So you're asking exploratory questions. You're in dialogue. And while you're here, is anything else you want me to look at? So you're meeting with the customer. You're gathering your notes, and you say, I need to get a price together, and I will get back with you. So there's a couple different ways to do that. You can go out to your truck. It's very common. You go out to your truck and you actually write up your prices right there in the truck. And then you go back in and you give them their prices. And you can present it through a tablet, a phone, or you can actually hand write them. A lot of customers love to see that handwritten. I don't do that anymore. I used to. I started out that way. Would always give a couple options. You will sell more jobs if you, on small projects, small tasks, small handyman tasks, if you give 3 options, your percentage will skyrocket on selling those projects. There are studies that show that in the service industry. So that's just an idea. You can do that too. It's very simple to write out a price, give them a couple different options. Say this option 1 includes everything we talked about. Option 2, I took off, these 2 items because they were kind of like you wanted them done, but maybe if you didn't want them done, we just took those off. And the option 3 is the absolute essential, what I came here today for, that faulty outlet. And giving them all those options, they will pick one, and almost always they will pick one because they love those options. They're written. So you go back in, they say, what, we're going to go with option 2. They pick option 2. You decide what materials you need. You go get the materials. You go back to the job. By now it's 9:30, and you start your project, and it takes you an hour and a half, 2 hours. You're at 11:30, and you've only had 2 hours of tool time so far. So you go to another call, and I give my calls, usually a 2-hour window, and let them know I will call them when I'm on my way, so they're not wondering where I'm at. And so your day can fly by, and half of your day was spent, writing up the price, meeting with the customer. Before you know it, if you charged $85, $125 an hour, and you only had those 2 work hours in there, what about the rest of the day? You just lost all that time. So the customer pays for everything. The customer pays for everything. The customer pays for everything. Did I say that already once? The customer pays for everything. The customer pays for you to sit in your truck. The customer pays for your vacation. The customer pays for your fuel. Everything. Mark it down, write it down, chisel it on stone. Customer pays for everything. Sounds simple. A lot of people don't seem to understand that for you to have t-shirts made, for you to have hats made, for you to have logo on your truck, for you to have tools, for you to be able to take a day off if you are sick, so somebody's paying for that, and it's always the customer. But if you always price your jobs out by the hour and you're only going to be in the service side of things and you're just going in and out of a lot of houses every week, you are going to get your butt handed to you. So that leads me to what I would recommend that you do, and that is build a billable hour, not a by the hour project where you start billing everybody by the hour, but you actually are creating a billable hour. So let me explain how this works. Get a piece of paper out and start writing down all of your expenses. Truck payment, lease, whatever. If you don't have a truck payment or a vehicle payment or a lease, you have vehicle maintenance. You need to find out per year, this is going to be a year, so you're going to do what they call a 1 truck exercise. You're going to find out how much is it going to cost me per year to operate my business. Okay, so you're going to have how much does it cost me per month for vehicle maintenance. You will need tires, you will need brakes, you will need engine work. So you need to write down, okay, X amount of dollars per month I'm going to plan on vehicle maintenance. Uniforms, I'm going to plan on X amount of dollars, setting it aside for uniforms. This is what's going towards uniforms. Insurances, making sure that you can make your insurance payments and premiums every month on your vehicle and your contractor's insurance. Making sure that you have your cell phone bill paid. So you're going to write down all of these things and what they are per month. You're going to fill them out to the year, and you're going to find out, okay, it's going to cost me $1,500 per month in overhead. That's all overhead, all of those things. Okay, but what about markup? What about profit? Do you want to just break even every year, or do you want to actually build a profit into it? So usually you're going to come up with your number, whatever that number might be, and then you're going to put a markup on that. A lot of people put a 10%, you could put 15, 20, up to, some people do this. With the economy the way it is, 30% is not unheard of at all. So don't feel like, wow, I'm going to mark my job up 30% to make a profit. If you want your company to grow and you want to, plan on in the future maybe hiring people, or you want to buy another vehicle, or you want to buy more tools and you want to actually grow, you need to have a markup and not just a break-even price. And so you take all of that overhead, and you're going to calculate your time with your hands on the job. 4 hours a day. Remember, we started this whole video with that 4 hours a day. So you're going to start with 4 billable hours of work per day, 2,000 hours per year. I'm not going to do all the math for you on that. You can Google that, look it up, how many billable hours, but plan on your 2,000 hours per year and your 4 billable hours per day. So when I first started, my billable hour rate was $239 for a billable hour. Okay, so that doesn't mean that every time I walk into a job and I'm going to say, here's a 6-hour job, I'm billing them at $239 billable hours plus my materials. So it means if I'm gonna be at a job and I'm like, this electrical project's gonna take me 30 minutes, I'm only billing them for 0.5, half an hour. I'm gonna bill them, that 239 divided by 2, get them, it's 138 and change or whatever it is. That's gonna be what it's gonna be for that task, plus the material. So then I can give them a price based on that task plus the material. I give them an upfront price, because somebody has to pay for my overhead and somebody has to pay for my time with that customer. Your time is valuable. It's important that you're getting paid when you are meeting with customers, that you're getting paid when you are driving between jobs, that you get paid when you are filling up your truck, or when you're setting time aside for a vacation with your family. It's important that you have money to do that, and you will not get ahead by only charging an hourly rate. You will find that you will struggle heavily hand to mouth, if you're only going out there and billing an hourly rate of, $85, $100 an hour for a couple hours a day of actual work, because you'll feel very weird up front saying, well, I'll bill you per hour. I think this is going to take me about an hour and a half, $150 plus materials. And then by the end of the week, you have 4 or 5 of those jobs. You're like, I really didn't make any money this week. So you create that billable hour. And because there are going to be jobs where you go and you spend an hour with the customer, you give them pricing, and you never hear anything back from them. And so somebody's paying for your time there, though. Somebody has to pay for that. So you build this pricing system with a billable hour, and there's a lot of videos on YouTube, on the internet, about building a billable hour, but make sure you're including all of your overhead, including health insurance. If you want to include health insurance in your job to provide for your family, that you include what that premium would be for the company to be able to make that kind of money. You need to include that in your billable hour, so when you go out and you sell those jobs, you can make that money. So I structure mine where I have a billable hour, I have a sold day, and I also have a sold week. So, because there's no way you're going to go out there and sell a job for 40 hours at $239 an hour and sell that job. So I have broken mine down where I can kind of discount my rate for people. If I'm going to be here for the whole day, if I sell enough projects on a job where I'm going to be here for a day, I sell it for a sold day, all encompassed. Here's all the projects. Here's a sold day. If it's going to take me 2 weeks, I got a kitchen floor to lay, I got a bathroom to tile, it's going to take me 2 weeks, I have a sold week price, and I'm not selling that at a billable hour, but I'm making sure I'm able to make my overhead, and I'm going to have profit on top of that. So there's some things to think about when you guys go out and price your jobs. Feel free to ask me questions. Look up online, the one truck work sheet, and you can print off some sheets. It'll give you a whole list of items that you won't even think about to include in your overhead. Don't forget the little things. The little things are important. If it's $10 a month for uniforms because you're planning on buying t-shirts once a year, include that in there. You want to make sure you have money to buy your t-shirts. And so that's something to kind of get you guys started. I shy away from hourly rates, and here's the reason why. It's scary for me and the customer. If I run into a problem and I'm going to be there for 2 hours longer or 4 hours, the customer's watching. If I have to go out to the truck because I'm going to eat my lunch or I'm going to make some calls, I don't want them looking out their window thinking I'm paying this guy by the hour and he's out there on their phone. If I get a call that I got to take and I can't wait, I have to take care of that call. So these are things to consider when you sell it by the job versus by the hour. I always sell it by the job. I never do an hourly rate. People ask me, oh, what's your hourly rate? I don't have one. I price it out per job. So you let me know what tasks you have, and I will price it out for those tasks. And what I price out, that's what it's going to be. Sometimes I win, sometimes I lose. Every once in a while, you do get trapped. You're stuck on a job longer than you planned, and you don't make as much. But don't go back to the customer and say, I got to charge you more. Now, if there's an add-on, that's a whole nother story. You're at customer's house, and they say, hey, while you're here, I bought a light fixture at Home Depot. Can you hang that light fixture? Sure. That's an additional $85. I can hang that light fixture for you. Not a problem. But that's an add-on. And so there's communication with that add-on that's going to be an additional charge. So I hope this helps. It benefited me immensely when I worked out my sheet when I started, and I came up with my billable hour, and then I created, had a sold day and a sold month or a sold week. On a very rare occasion, I've done a month, that if I can make this month throughout the whole month on one job, it'll save me travel. It'll save me so much. I'm just going to sell it. I kind of want this job. I'm going to sell it for the whole month because I'm going to be there. So some things to consider and look at. If you guys have any questions, please feel free to ask me questions. You want me to break this down a little bit more? I can maybe do a video on a whiteboard, and I can work through some of the numbers and show you how this works on paper, easier than just talking about it. But build a price that you can sell a billable hour or a sold day or a sold week versus pricing jobs just by the hour plus material. I hate the conflict that can bring up with customers and the potential for conflict. I avoid it. I get the price conditioning out of the way up front, right out of the door. Like, this is what it's going to be, and the customer can see it on paper right in front of them. They know, and that's what it is. So hope this helps. hit that like and subscribe button, and stay tuned for more great content. Thanks.